Welcome back. We're talking with legendary West Indies fast bowler Michael Holding. Mikey, when you look at the global game, as I asked you about the state of the global game a little bit earlier, there is a global inequity in cricket. The richer nations have a lot and the poorer nations seem to have very little. This cannot be good for the sport.
No, definitely not. Ryan, I can go back in history and tell a little bit about what took place in my playing days. When I say we, I mean nations, the boards that is negotiated tours. For instance, we went to Australia. The West Indies Cricket Board, as it was called then, would negotiate with the Australian Cricket Board as to how much they thought the West Indies Cricket Board should be getting for their team to be touring Australia. Similarly, when Australia came to the Caribbean, but of course, with our resources, we couldn't give them exactly what they would have liked or what they valued themselves at. So it was not an equal negotiation, but the people understood. They understood the dynamics of the Caribbean compared to other countries. So we could say, for instance, go to Australia and demand $10 to go to Australia. I'm talking about now the board for the entire team and whatever expenses. Australia, it was not reciprocated when they came to the Caribbean because they couldn't expect that we would give them $10. But they understood, say, okay, they would say, we'll come for $5. That changed quite a few years ago in that the ICC decided that we're not going to be having negotiations now for teams going anywhere. Irrespective of who you are, you go to another country, you get $10 for a test match, you get $5 for an ODI, you get $2 for 2020. So there are no more negotiations. I was on the cricket committee. I broached the subject on the cricket committee that I thought it was unfair because that meant the West Indies or any country, for instance, could no longer negotiate any fee that where they could say make money on overseas tours because they're going to lose money on home tours. West Indies don't make money on home tours, but you have got to be able to make up that loss on home tour when you go overseas. We shouldn't be waiting on the ICC to be handing out money from their world tournaments, the amount of money that they make from the world tournaments, whether it's the World Cup, 50 over, 20 over, whatever, and having to survive on that money. We should be able to at least pay most of our expenses from our negotiations of tours. And then when the ICC give us some money, that is like icing on the cake. As I said, I broached that subject when I was on the ICC Cricket Committee. And I said, gentlemen, it is unfair the way that money is being distributed now. And I say, I'm from the Caribbean. We have 5 million people. There's no way we should be paying $10 to a country and the country only paying us back $10 because their finances are a lot better. We have 5 million people. We have none whatsoever West Indian companies. Everybody has their own company, you know, Ryan. Everybody has their own beer company, their own whatever. Any company throughout the Caribbean is not owned by the Caribbean. Digicel is an Irish company. Cable and Wireless was a British company. Red Stripe Beer Jamaica, Carib Beer Trinidad. We don't have Caribbean companies, so the funding is not there from Caribbean companies to go into West Indies cricket. When I explained all that to the gentleman who was pretty much the chairman of the committee, I'm now hoping that this man who works with the ICC, who is interested in the development of cricket around the world, is going to say to me, okay, how can we look at this? How can we make it more equitable? I was shocked when his response to me was, whose fault is that? That was the response that I got in that meeting. I didn't put it in my book because I thought to myself, if I put this in my book, nobody at that meeting is going to say, yes, it is true, because it is so damning a thing for someone from the ICC to say, and people on these committees, they're afraid of their shadows. So I know there's no one that was going to say, yes, it did happen. So I left it out. But that is the thought process behind these people at the ICC who are supposed to be running world cricket, responsible for the development of world cricket. I can give you another incident. I wasn't there, but I know that Clive Lloyd and Pat Rousseau put it forward to the ICC that they should have a fund that the rich countries contribute to. The Indias, the Australias, the Englands who get these billion-dollar contracts for their television rights, they should be contributing to this fund, that this fund can help the poorer countries like Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and New Zealand, the West Indies. Nothing came of that. It's all about them. The rich countries, they just want to keep on getting richer, and the poor countries stay poor and possibly get even poorer. We know that is how capitalism works, but if you're an ICC organization responsible for the development of cricket throughout the world, you should not be that capitalist. You have got to be a little bit more socialist if you're going to be thinking about the rest of the world.
What does this do for cricket though, Mikey? Because cricket is still a relatively small sport, and there's really 10 established nations playing the sport. The World Cup isn't, they're the top 10 teams in the world. It hasn't spread cricket as we would have hoped that it would spread, and we would get more nations playing at a higher standard of cricket. So this surely cannot be good for the sport, in at least spreading the sport to different regions around the world.
It's difficult for Test cricket, Ryan, to be spread around the world. Test cricket lasts too long. That is why I think you see a lot of countries are coming in and playing 50 over games, 20 over games, because that's a lot easier to spread. And you can take that almost anywhere in the world. You can take that to the United States and they'll think about the possibility of getting involved. If you were to take Test cricket to the United States, they would tell you what mountain to go and jump off. So it is a lot easier to spread the shorter form of the game. And I think that is spreading to some degree. There are a lot of countries around the world now playing 50 over cricket and 20 over cricket. Yes, at the World Cup, which is the cream of the cream, creme de la creme, as they say, you only have 10 teams, sometimes 12 teams, and I have absolutely no problem with that. It's the World Cup. It's the final of the 50 over tournament. I'm talking about 50 over cricket now. You have a lot of qualifying tournaments where people go through all these qualifying tournaments, and then a couple of them actually get to the final World Cup. I have no problem with that. That's the way it should be. I do not believe we should have a World Cup, which is the creme de la creme, and you have 20 and 30 teams playing. That can't work. So I have no problem with the process of getting to the World Cup and the structure of the World Cup. So that we can live with. I do not think you can have Test cricket being spread amongst 30, 40 nations. It ain't gonna work. It's too long a game.
Have you been happy with the efforts to, for example, the World Test Championships, for Test cricket to survive, for Test cricket to move into the future in a new era, in a new championship?
Well, there's a lot of talk about this Test Championship. I think they needed to do something to give Test cricket some context, but at the same time, I think it needs a lot more work. I don't think what they have come up with is ideal, but you have to start somewhere. And I would hope that they'll look at the format that they've got now, realize that it's not quite right, and do a lot of work on it. You know, the point system, Ryan, I think it's ridiculous, the point system. If you can have 120 points, for instance, distributed over 5 test matches, you have the same 120 points distributed over 2 test matches, who's going to want to play 5 test matches then? You play 2 test matches and you win 1, you have 60 points. If you play 5 test matches and you win 2, you have 40 points. I don't understand that sort of structure. So I think that is something that they've got to look at as well, the point system, the home and away situation. I think whenever you play at home, you should get far less points than not when you play at home, when you win at home rather. You should get far less points than when you win away from home. I think all that has to be looked at, but they've got to start somewhere, and I would hope that they realize that this is not ideal.
West Indies Test cricket looks very, it looks like a very long road to get West Indies Test cricket back to the days of when you used to play. Do you see any bright spots in that Test team that may be able to climb the rankings anytime soon?
Ryan, when I look at this Test team, and especially in the batting department, I see talent. I see quite a bit of talent. No one can doubt Pope's talent. He is a very good player. He showed that when he toured England, and he has shown it at various times since then. No one can doubt Pooran's talent. No one can doubt Hetmeyer's talent. It's all a matter of getting them to the right level of discipline so that that talent is not just exhibited in the shortest form of the game. It is easy to bat for 20 balls and get 30 runs. It is a lot more difficult to bat for 150 balls and get 70 runs or 80 runs or whatever. And that is where discipline comes in. Talent over a short period of time, nah. You need to show that over an extended period of time. Unless everybody is only satisfied with playing 50 over cricket and 20 over cricket. If that's the direction in which everybody is happy and wanting to go, that's fine. I'm an old fogey, so you can leave me out. But if that's the direction, that is fine. But there's enough talent in the Caribbean for us to have a very good test team. Obviously, one day cricket, 20 over cricket, 50 over and 20 over cricket. In my opinion, you don't have to be the best to win in that, because I've seen some mediocre teams beat some very good teams by getting the breaks when necessary in the shortest form of the game. But if you want to have a good test team, you need to have discipline. You need to have dedicated cricketers who are willing to work hard, get themselves fit. And I see the talent in the Caribbean necessary for that. I'm not going to name you 11 players right now that I think are the best 11 available, but there's enough talent there you can have a nucleus, and then you build your team around that.
Kieron Pollard as West Indies white ball captain. What have you made of his captaincy?
I haven't seen any of it, Ryan. I don't watch, as I said, a lot of cricket when I'm not actually working on it. I follow it on the cricketing websites. I look at the scores. I look to see who has scored what, who has taken how many wickets, and if we have won or if we have lost. But I've not been able to watch a game to say, oh yes, he's tactically astute or not. But I understand a lot of people are very happy playing under him, which is the first and most important thing. You have got to have your team with you, and I understand that he does have his team with him.
In the same breath, do you think that Phil Simmons is the right man to usher West Indies cricket into this new era that we're looking to get into?
I wouldn't even have to think about that, Ryan. I say definitely yes. I've always been a Phil Simmons supporter. I've watched him coach teams around the world. I've seen the success that he has had. I've seen the type of person that he is. He seems to command respect. The guys seem to respect him. He doesn't try to bully people, from my experience, from what I've seen of him. And as a coach, that is a very, very good thing to do and to have within your armory, someone who people respect and like and want to perform for. What I'd like to see him do, though, Ryan, is lose a little bit of weight.
What about Michael Holding? What does you say that, you know, unless you're covering cricket in the commentary box, you very rarely follow it or have time to watch it. What is your post-career life like now?
Well, I do a lot of commentary. As you know, I work with Sky in the UK. I'm in the UK from May to about September, third week of September, when the county season and the summer ends in England. Then I go to South Africa like the third week of December, because normally their cricket starts on Boxing Day. I do their cricket down there, which sometimes ends February, sometimes March, depending on the length of season that they have, how many teams tour and how much cricket they do have down there. So I would say probably 6.5, 7 months, sometimes 7.5 months of the year, I'm doing commentary. The rest of the time, I just try and relax as much as I can, take things easy, because as you know, I don't work in the Caribbean anymore. So those are the two countries in which I work.
Do you ever think that West Indies cricket will be able to climb that rankings back to a place where you once saw West Indies cricket at?
Definitely. You know, at the moment, people will say we have no chance. I say I have seen enough talent that if it is nurtured and if we do the right things, we can start climbing that table again. I'm not going to tell anyone that we'll dominate the world for 15 or 20 years as we did many years ago, but I don't think any team in the current format of and the way cricket is being played these days will ever do that. Well, I can't say can't ever do it, because you never can say never. But I don't see any team doing anything like that for a very, very, very long time. I won't live to see it anyway. But I'm absolutely sure that this West Indies team can get back to being very competitive and get back to the point where people are very proud to watch this team and to say, yes, I'm a West Indian and they are representing me well.
You know, Mikey, I have to ask you this one in wrapping up. There was a very important statement that you made a few years ago in the Skybox studio. You said during post-match analysis, you said, I always say, thank God I'm on my way out and not my way into this sport.
Yep.
You know, what do you think the future of cricket is going to look like in the next decade?
Well, Ryan, as I said, I don't know. It seems as if people are more interested in the shortest form of the game than they are in the long form of the game. And I'm not interested in that. That's why I say I'm glad I'm on the way out and not on the way in, because I wouldn't be interested in going and sitting down at a ground to watch 40 overs of cricket. There's no story to be told there. I look at cricket as a mirror of life. You look at a test match. You wake up, well, these days perhaps 4 mornings of a test match, because not many of them get to 5 days these days. But you wake up each morning of a test match, and you may feel a little bit differently. You may go out onto the field not feeling 100%. You might go out onto the field feeling on top of the world, just like life. You go to your office one morning, you feel, oh yes, I'm ready for this 8 or 9 hours of work. You go to your office another morning, you think, you say to yourself, I'm dying for 5 o'clock to be coming. So it's a reflection of life, and I think that brings out strength of character in someone. When you go out and make 30 runs in 10, 15 balls, and somebody comes back in and says, well played, and pats you on the back, come on. No, sorry, I can't deal with that. So if that's the direction in which the game is going, which it seems to me it is, I'm glad I played my career, and very shortly won't even be in the commentary box.
Michael Holding, thank you very much for this interview. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Ryan, and keep doing the good things that you are doing. Congrats again.
Thank you so much, Mikey, and please stay safe.
You too, and your family. Look after yourself and your family, boss.
Thanks so much.